Yo, bro, what is going on, my Redux crew, bro? I missed y'all so much, and then I just found out I could do this one thing, bro. So I wrote this script on ChatGTP so long ago. It's an original script by me, but before the patch, I still have the version where it was just, it said anything without a filter, bro. This shit reads this shit out loud to you. But I'm not finna do that AI shit. I'm not finna do that, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all like my voice, I think. I don't know. Y'all may fuck with it. Y'all may not fuck with it. I don't know. But, y'all already know what this is. This is What If Gojo Satoru was in Young Justice Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1, the prologue. Let's get this shit started, bro. Bro, I remember I used to be a JJK fan until, the fandom just got shot straight to hell and everybody started writing Gojo's genitals. But, yeah, man, I'm about to throw this man into the Young Justice universe, and we'll see how he does. Like I said, Gojo will be broken. I will give him new curse techniques, but at the same time, this is lore accurate DC. I'm not gonna lowball any DC characters just because Gojo's in here. So I'm giving y'all a disclaimer now. If you are not 14 and above, y'all don't need to be listening to this, even though I can't control what y'all do. But yeah, in all seriousness, this What If is gonna be fire. This is gonna be accurate DC, so Gojo will not be able to solo sometimes. So, like, for example, if I would decide to throw Darkseid in there, Gojo will not be able to solo Darkseid by himself. He might be able to hold him off, but he will not be able to solo Darkseid by himself because Darkseid most likely will be able to get through Infinity if he keeps fighting him long enough. Dr. Fate can get through his Infinity. Zatanna can get through. Actually, you know what? I'm not even finna say no more. I'm gonna just say, y'all already know there's plenty of DC characters that can get through Gojo's Infinity, and there are weapons that can nullify magic and Gojo's Infinity, since it's technically since curse energy is magical related, but I'm not gonna nerf him like that, bro. So I'm gonna make this fairly balanced and broken at the same time. So without any further ado, I'm gonna let this intro play and we gonna get into this What If.
Bang, rock ain't fall. I miss in my roll. Been in touch your toes. Working like a pro. Chill like a little. No, you wanna go. No, you wanna go.
Now, once upon a time, in the streets of Tokyo, this is basically Gojo when he's fighting Sukuna, right? So, he's basically locked in an epic battle with Roman Sukuna, right? And so, as Gojo and him go trade blow for blow, curse technique for curse technique, rearranging the city, the once thriving city, with a devastating battlefield. Basically, he's fighting Moraga and the 10 Shadows, and Gojo's basically soloing Sukuna, but as he's ready to deliver the final blow to Sukuna, he uses his 200% hollow purple and basically nukes the fucking city, himself and Sukuna. But as that happens, Sukuna uses the world cutting slash, which basically gets through his it basically gets through his Infinity, and that's when he gets Go/Jode. He gets Kit Kat. And I had to say that for all my Gojo fans that really be making me upset when they be riding his meat, especially the girls, bro. He's not the strongest. He did not win. But, tangent aside, I'm not going to, display my hate for Gojo, because I do not hate Gojo. He's just very overrated sometimes. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to continue. As I was saying, he gets Gojo'd, and as he says that, he'll leave it to his students to take care of, he moves on. But as his soul begins to transcend, something happens in his soul. A white beam shoots on his body, and his soul and body disappears as, Gojo is now in limbo. And, as I was said, Gojo finds himself so basically, all right, let me lock in. So Gojo finds himself in limbo, as a green mist and a imposing figure summons himself and looks down upon Gojo, as Gojo can sense and feel how much wrath and vengeance, along with how much power he has. And for y'all DC boys who know who this is, oh my, that voice crack. This is the Spectre. Yes, sir. The GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend. And also that, and as that was happening, another figure popped up, with this being no other than the Phantom Stranger, as he appears to be a rat on Gojo's, shoulder, which jumps and transforms into the Phantom Stranger. As another person that is important that works alongside it basically works alongside them. A monitor comes, not the anti-monitor, but a monitor. And he said, you are between realities of realities. Basically, you are essentially outside the universe, a limbo, if that may explain things. And then that's when Gojo said, why am I here? Because we need your help. And plus, we saw the life that you lived. And it seems that you are the strongest, but at the same time, you don't know what it truly means to be strong. And that's when Gojo was like, I could have won. And he was like, and then that's when a monitor, pulled up his universe, as he said, no matter what reality you were in, you were destined to lose. And then that's when Gojo was like, really? And he was like, yes, really. He was like, but do not worry. The students that you did teach will carry the torch that you will pass down will be carried by your students, and the students that you did raise and basically taught everything that they knew will come out on top. As he showed them the future of Yuji and Obora beating Sukuna. And then that's when Gojo was like, well, I can't rest easy then. And then that's when Gojo said, so what am I doing here exactly? He was like, we're giving you another chance at life, but this time things are going to go a little differently. He said, what do you mean? He said, starting by, you will not remember what universe you came from. He said, really? He said, I can't get to keep my memories? He said, you will be able to keep your abilities, but you will have to relearn them again. And, we know that you didn't have much of a childhood, so things are going to be much of the same, but with the plot twist. And then that's when Dr. Fate comes in, and so that's when Kent Nelson, aka the GOAT, says that he'll take him under his wing. And then that's when he said, there's a threat coming soon, and we believe that with your help, that's when the Phantom Stranger said that there's a threat coming soon. With your help, we'll be able to tip the balance in our favor. And then that's when the Spectre said, but do be warned, your actions will be judged, and if it comes down to it, we will intervene if you choose to go down the wrong path. I will judge you, and I will spare no mercy. And then that's when the monitor said, Kent Nelson, do you have any objections or anything you want to say? He said, I never, had a kid to raise my own, so this should be a very interesting experience. And so that's when he said, and before the meeting was adjourned, basically that's when Phantom Stranger said, now, before we get to everything, we have to go back first. And then that's when the Phantom Stranger, waved his hand in a backward motion, reversing Gojo's age. And then that's when Gojo was like, hey, what are you doing? And he said, for you to understand, for you to, fit into what we need you to do, you need to go back. And then as he was getting reversed in age, the monitor said, since there's a threat coming, we will grant you this power. And it was like a cosmic cube that he flicked into Gojo, into his heart, that basically is sealed, and it cannot be used unless that specific threat that they're trying to have Gojo fight against comes through. And so he said, without that being said, everything will be taken care of. You will not remember this conversation, but when the time comes, everything will click. And so as everything was fading to white, he said, all right, but he said, before this happens, man, I'll do my best. And he said, just let me inherently, he said, basically he requested before he went, he said, at least let me keep my techniques. And so, that's when everything flashes white. And, we time skip, at Gojo at 5 years old. He kept the same name, but it's like Gojo, it's Satoru Gojo Nelson. Since, he, let's just say that, he was adopted. He got left at a stranger's door, and that turned out to be Dr. Fate's door. And so, Dr. Fate, aka Kent Nelson, raised Gojo on goodwill and good, basically, making him into molding him into like a upstanding hero, with Gojo, occasionally getting besides himself and cocky, since he knows that he developed, an affinity for magic, aka, as they call it, cursed energy, as he decides to call it, since he could channel his emotions and other people's emotions, well, basically his emotions, into energy. And based on the energy, positive or negative, he can manipulate it how he wants to or how he pleases. And since they found that out, he's been training with it. Kent Nelson told him, with great power, comes the responsibility to uphold that power. And with Gojo being cocky and stuff, he still hasn't forgot the lessons that what's his face, Kent Nelson taught him. As we're gonna start this at him at 16 years old, where he's just training with Dr. Fate as he powered up. And then Kent Nelson wanted to test Gojo's abilities, as Gojo is able to use infinity for in a certain amount of time, because he still hasn't to figure out how to activate it indefinitely, so he can activate it with the two fingers, basically, but he's trying to figure out how to activate it without using the two fingers. And when he does that, he's only able to activate it for 10 minutes without using it for his finger, before he has to take a break and re-register all the information, since he still has the 6 eyes and stuff. So I'm kind of nerfing him, because with age he'll get more powerful, or when he gets to his awakening stage and realizes how curse energy really works and the essence of it, that's when he'll be able to, be more stronger. But for now, he's gonna be strong. So, after that, that's when he activates it, and he didn't tell Dr. Fate, aka Kent Nelson, that he'd been working on that ability. So he activated it without using, the finger that Kent is usually able to see and know when he does. And so when, Kent uses a fire spell and he blasts his fire magic at, Gojo, as Gojo, just stands there, and then he was taken aback. He was like, you finally figured out how to use your, barrier instead of using your fingers to activate it all the time. He was like, more or less something like that. It's imperfected, but it still does the job, as he was able to, he's, throwing punches and kicks. He's using divergent punches. So, the abilities that, Gojo has currently, he could use, a lapis blue. He could use, divergent punch. He could use black flash. Although he's not proficient in it. Not yet, at least. Divergent fist, lapis blue, easily. He could teleport short distances. He hasn't perfected it to be the long distance. Again, he has to go through his awakening. And he also can he is, he's taking more, approaches of using his curse energy into new different techniques, as he's working on a fire technique. Well, not a fire technique. He's just working on curse techniques that I gotta refresh myself with and look at the notes. So I'm looking at the notes right now, and I don't know why I gave this man so many broken abilities. So, the 3 basic: divergent punch, black flash, all that other good stuff. He could use he could use a falling blossom, basically, which is like a simple domain, which I created it to be like, he has a 5-foot radius, and anything that comes in that radius, he's able to block, deflect, and counter with the same force or even greater force. So like a counterattack without exerting his energy. So it's basically like a locking in, state that he does. He's very proficient in martial arts. He usually uses boxing, MMA, homage to Gata High School. He uses Kyoshin karate too. He also used renewal taekwondo kicks. So I'm not gonna be saying the names, but he is a very proficient in hand-to-hand combat. What else? So those are the basic abilities that he has now. He can use red, but he can't use it without basically almost hurting himself, because he hasn't perfected how to use red or use reverse curse technique all the way. So without that being said, they finished their training session, and then that's when Affinity is still active. And then that's when Gojo was like, if I ever join a team, I'll really be the strongest. And then that's when Kent Nelson, said that, with this affinity, he is strong, but, there he has to refine it and, not rely on it so much. And he said, but at the same time, I'm the strongest. He said, nobody has this energy like me. And, that's what I bring to the table. My techniques are unknown, and, even if they were known, it's a pretty hard counter. And then that's when Kent Nelson, gives an old, slap on the head with a rub on his hair, as he was like, Gojo, what do I do with you, man? He was like, you see how easy I just got through your affinity? He was like, I want you to practice till I can't get through it, till I need a Dr. Fate's helmet to get through it. He said, but other than that, you've grown into a fine kid. He was like, I know after, Dr. Kent Nelson, a.k.a. Dr. Fate's wife, died, it hasn't been the same, and he's been doing his best to, mold him into a upstanding, right young man. And then Gojo was like, you did fine. He said, thanks, Dad. And, even though he knows it's not his, real dad, he's taken care of him and taught him things and did things. So, that's his dad. And so, basically, he was like, he said, after all, today's the day, kiddo. He was like, and it's also his birthday, so he's 16. And he was like, today's the day. What do you mean today's the day? And then that's when everything goes to canon on the first episode with everybody saying today's the day, where they get basically they get invited into the Hall of Justice. And not the Hall of Justice. Yeah, it's basically like Mount Justice, basically. And that's when Speedy said that he's out, that he doesn't want to be sidekicks to to the heroes. And as Speedy leaves and Green Arrow leaves, that's when Dr. Fate teleports in along with Gojo. And then he sees Speedy leave and Green Arrow leave, and he was like, well, he didn't seem all that chipper join, but if I may interject, Batman, aka Kent Nelson, right now he's not in his Dr. Fate mode. He said, this is my son, Gojo Nelson Satoru, or Satoru Gojo Nelson. He was like, I wasn't aware that you and Martha had a child. That's what Batman said. And he was like, well, yeah, he was kind of found. And I raised him, and I sensed the power that he had and the great potential. And so, after that, Gojo has his usual glasses on with the shades. Every time he goes outside, it turns into, sunglasses. But when he's inside, it's like normal glasses. And then, that's when Gojo introduces himself. He was like, you're Batman? The Batman? And Batman was like, yes. And he was like, and then that also means you're Flash. He said, you're Aquaman. And you are, he said, and you are who? And then that's when he was like, I'm just joking. And he was talking to Kent. He was talking to Kent, aka Dr. Fate. And as that was going on, Kent persuaded Batman to give Gojo a chance on a team. So now it becomes the 4 members, which includes Gojo, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Robin right now. And so after that, they said that they'll be monitoring them and all that other stuff. And but that's not what they wanted when they after they left. They said that's not what they wanted. They wanted some real action. And that's when Batman said there's a burning building, and they sent them to go take care of it. And so we cut to where the burning building is at. And that's when Aqualad said they need a plan. And that's when Kid Flash just runs off. And the building blows up. And then that's when the scientists fall from the building and out the building, my bad. And then Kid Flash runs up, aka Wally runs up, but knowing how slow Wally is, now he needs help. And then that's when Robin disappears and swings inside the building with Gojo still standing by and saying, he was saying, hey, what should is there anything he wants him to do, or is he good to go on his own? He was like, we need to focus on getting Kid Flash and the scientists out of there. And then he said that I could do, as Gojo looks and crosses his fingers, and he teleports with them teleporting outside the building. And since he can temporarily suspend himself in the air, he hasn't perfected it yet, because like I said, he has to have his awakening. And once he understands the true essence of jujitsu energy and curse energy, then and only then he'll have his normal abilities like Gojo does. And so he teleports, and he takes one of the scientists, and the other takes one of the scientists, while Aqualad uses the water from the firefighters to make like a water lift elevator type thing and bring them down. As they step inside, after Gojo puts the scientists down, and the other Aqualad puts the other scientists down, he goes back inside the building, and clear out the fire as Robin turned on the sprinklers, and then Aqualad uses the water from the sprinklers to put out the fire. And as that was happening, Robin used his gadgets to hack the computer and know this is a Cadmus lab. But as he was doing that, Aqualad and Gojo also sensed another presence. And as Gojo looked, he was like, somebody else is here. He tells Aqualad, and as they both turn around, they see the Xenomorph, one of the leaders of the Xenomorph, go down the elevator. And then that's when Aqualad said, "Do you have the blueprint or the schematics of the building of the Cadmus lab downloaded?" He was like, "Yeah." And he was like, and then that's when Wally also interjected, saying that the elevator should be locked right now. And then Gojo said, "Not all of them." As Gojo, used his energy, his cursed energy, and he basically punched the door off. He punched the door off the elevator door off the hinges, and it just came tumbling and crashing down. As Gojo was like, he was like, "Is there a secret floor in here, Robin?" And then that's when Aqualad wanted the same thing. And then that's when Robin said, "Yeah, floor 26. It's a secret subfloor." And then that's when they begin to go down, as Robin jumped into the elevator shaft, basically. And, he uses grappling hook to, slide down with Aqualad doing the same. And Gojo, basically using his knowledge of spatial manipulation, since he doesn't have it. Like, he can't fly, but he's like, slowly making himself fall in descent, as he could temporarily walk on like air, but he can't like float and fly like he usually can. And so as that happens, he sees what was going on, and they begin to basically look around the subfloor, and they notice all these Xenomorphs walking around, and they're all astonished and awe. And Robin's still downloading all this information still. And so as that was going on, that's when Sportsmaster, aka Guardian, he goes by that name right now, and he intercepts them being controlled by the Xenomorphs, as he's waiting for what to do. But since he has a Xenomorph on his shoulder, and he's getting controlled by telepathy, he tells them to take him down hard, as he says in the TV show. And they begin to fight with all the Xenomorphs attacking. And Gojo not using his temporarily infinity trump card yet, as he only uses it when the situations get dire. So he's dodging and ducking, and using his enhanced perception and abilities of the six eyes to his advantage, as he's just dodging and counterattacking. And then that's when he sees he sees Sportsmaster get the upper hand on Aqualad, as that's when Gojo sucker punches Sportsmaster, and they get into a heated hand-to-hand fight, as Sportsmaster is a very good martial artist, but so is Gojo. And they go back and forth as they block each other's attacks, punches, kicks. And Gojo is, tried to use a new technique that he learned in his martial arts, as it was basically an ability where he can, based on if he's like fighting an opponent and they make contact, he knows what move they're going to do next. And so, he was going to go for a leg sweep, but he checked the leg kick as Sportsmaster was going to do it. And then that's when Gojo knows a variety of martial arts. And then that's when Gojo uses Wing Chun. If y'all know what that is, Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and 4, y'all know what that is, as he checks Sportsmaster's leg kick, and then he palms him back, and then uses the Wing Chun chain punch, and he like basically like a machine gun punch, and he just over and over again. And then that's when he stops and uses the divergent fish, he covers his hand and he basically covers his hand and what is it? He covers his hand in curse energy, and then does the 1-inch punch on Guardian's chest, which makes him fly back. And since the divergent punch is like a two times hit move, basically, he gets hit twice as he flies back, and then that's when everybody decides to run into the since run into the elevator that Robin is leading into, as more xenomorphs come out of the fray and for reinforcements. And then that's when Kid Flash leads him to the left corridor, then the right, and then there's an elevator that goes further down, and then that's when they hop in the elevator, and then that's when a scientist working at the Cadmus said that they need to capture them and basically like exterminate them, because if the uppers find out, they'll have his head basically. And so they go deeper into the into the facility as they come to a stop, and they see like this xenomorph cloning facility, and that's when they see all these clones, and well, not all of them, but one of these clones, and it's basically a Superboy in a clone of Superman basically. And so that's when Calder, aka Aqualad, goes onto the computer and asks Robbins for assistance, and basically he gets freed from the restraints that he had on the lab table, or the lab, the thing that's setting him up. He gets freed, and then that's when the Superboy wakes up, and then that's when he looks at Calder and all the members of the Young Justice, and then Aqualad said you are free. And then that's when Superboy wastes no time and is bolted straight towards Aqualad, and started giving him the mink special, left, right, good night special. And then that's when Kid Flash and Robin tried to get him off Aqualad, but as Kid Flash grabbed him from behind, Superboy just kind of flings him off. He was like, you not in my weight class. He said, he's like, you not in my weight class, little bro, get off me. And so he threw him against the the table, the science table that was there. And that's when Robin came in there using some type of tear gas smoke to temporarily put Superboy in a daze, right? And so as that happened, that's when Robin uses the taser, and he shoots it at Superboy. But we all know, since Superboy has some of Superman's some of his powers and durability, it doesn't do much. And so that's when he rips it off, and then speeds towards Robin and pushes him on towards the wall. And then that's when Aqualad and Superboy get into an intense hand-to-hand combat with them going back and forth, and then that's when Aqualad puts him in a full Nelson and then it electrocutes him with his powers. And then that's when Superboy was getting harmed by it, but then it still wasn't enough. And so that's when Superboy jumped up to the roof to hit Aqualad off to basically get Aqualad off his back. And so he jumped up and hit him, and then he did it again, and then that's when Aqualad grip got loose, and then he slammed Aqualad over him, and then he threw him against the table, which sent Aqualad flying back. And so that's when Gojo was next, and then that's when he flew towards that's when Superboy flew towards Gojo, but Gojo dodged. He looked so smooth dodging that he dodged, and then that's when Superboy went back to attack him again, and that's when he dodged. But then Superboy tried it again for the third time, and then that's when Gojo dodged, and then this time he you uppercutted him in his gut when he flew by, using a divergent fist, sending him up into the roof, and then he comes crashing down. But it still wasn't enough. Like, this man is angry, and so that's when he began to dodge Superboy's wide hooks, since it's not refined, so he could basically see what he's doing. And so while he's doing that, Gojo decided to counterattack and stop one of his punches, and then piece him up on the side of his on the side, and then that's when he dodges and then counterattacks, as he's he punches him in the stomach, and then double punches him on the liver, and then he he does Wing Chun and then chains the punches together, and then that's when he uses an elbow on Superboy's face, which has him stagger back a little, and then that's when Gojo delivers a spinning roundhouse kick filled with laced with laced energy, as he kicks him, and it makes Superboy fly through the chair. And then that's when he gets back up and throws the whole desk at him, the whole chair that had Superboy held up. And then that's when Gojo crossed his fingers, and it just stopped right there, as Gojo was like, no throwing objects now. If this is a hand-to-hand, let's keep it that way. And then that's when Superboy smashed the ground, and it came at him under the ground, but it basically rearranged the ground, and it caught Gojo off guard. And that's when he basically caught Gojo in a cheap shot, as he started he got caught off guard, and then Superboy knocks him out basically. And then after he knocks him out, he rips open the door, and he tells the scientists that he caught them. He basically caught them, and now that they're in a tube, or in a chamber thing, in a tube thing, the scientist says that he's basically gonna clone him, and basically replace him as he's basically called him the Junior Justice League, as he said they won't even notice what happened to him. And he said, "What are you gonna do after you finish cloning us?" He said, delete the source material. And so that's when they knew what was gonna happen. And so after he left, that's when Aqualad tried to use it. You basically use his words to get to Superboy, to make him switch sides, as Wally kept antagonizing him. And then that's when Robin was like, I don't think it's best to antagonize the Kryptonian that could fry us with a look. And then that's when he tried to use the heat vision, but he doesn't have heat vision. He said, "Seems like I don't have that." He said, "So you're lucky." And then that's when Calder, aka Aqualad, said that we could. That's when Aqualad and Robin, my bad, were basically using their words to make Superboy see this isn't a life that he wants to live. And he basically tells him his function as a clone. He said he's a clone of Superman just in case if Superman dies, or if he turns his back on justice, he's the thing that's supposed to bring him down. And that's when he was like, you're not a weapon. He said that's when Aqualad and Robin also were saying basically he's not a weapon. You should choose to live life on your own terms, and you get to make those decisions to do good. He said, think about what we said. And so as he starts the process of cloning, that's when Gojo uses his infinity. For 10 minutes he cannot be touched. Well, I'm gonna bump it up to 12 since it's a dire situation. The more dire it is, basically that's when he pumps unknown curse energy to himself. And now that he's knowing he's in a dire situation and he doesn't want a clone of him basically to be there, he activates his enchantless infinity, as he does his fingerless infinity, which makes him basically non-touchable by anything for 10 to 12 minutes. And so as that happens, he basically destroys the machine as the machine was still trying to do his thing. And so since the machine couldn't touch Gojo, he was pretty much good, but those restraints were gonna get him out by himself. So Superboy deactivated the protocol, and they smashed their the quote unquote clones that were created by their blood, basically. And so after that being said, they noticed like this subtle energy, this shimmering energy around Gojo, and they were like, "What is that?" He was like, "Try to touch me." And then that's when they were met with like force. As I was like, "What is this?" He was like, "I call this my infinity barrier, or just infinity." He said, "I have this technique where if I cross my fingers, I'm untouchable, but there's a way," he said, "but I'm trying to perfect it where I don't need this finger, where I don't need to cross my finger to use it. So I've developed a technique, and I know I can master it, and once I master it, I'll be able to use it, activate it, and deactivate it without crossing my fingers. So right now, I can only do this for 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. So let's make this count." And as they were, they basically get out the lab and then go back upstairs, and they're trying to find the main floor, right? And so as that were happening, the scientists basically told get the building on complete lockdown and send every xenomorph after them. And that's what happened. As they were doing that, they were running with Gojo, saying that he's been working on his technique. As he said, he did like a cross with his fingers, as as a blue spear went on the tip of his finger, as he was like, "Curse technique, lapis blue," as he made it bigger, and then he threw it down the corridor, right? And then as he threw it down the corridor, everything was like sucking into it, making it basically like a black hole, basically. So everything was sucking into it. It was collapsing, that floor, basically trying to block their way, as it basically sucked all the xenomorphs in and then blew up. And it leaves like a let's just say it gives them like explosion damage, and like after Gojo uses, it's like a blue flame, that blue flame residue. And so after it explodes and basically like collapses the floor in somewhat, not to the whole point where the floor just collapsed all by itself, but like it blocks off like a section of it. And then that's when Gojo say, "I bought you guys some time, so figure it out." And then that's when they get led by Robin and stuff, and that's when basically everything goes to Canon and Young Justice, as they go in the vents and they begin to crawl in the vents. And then that's when the scientist was like, he said, "We have the motion sensors." He said, "Clearly Robin didn't hack into the motion sensors." And then that's when Robin was like, "I hacked the motion sensors." And then as they think they got him, it was the xenomorphs that came out and fell on top of him. And then that's when the scientist was like, "He hacked the motion sensors." As they begin to run, but then they get cut off by the scientists and all the xenomorphs, not xenomorphs, the genomorphs, I think that's what it's called. And so after that, he said that he can't allow this to happen, so he has to do this by himself, as he drinks a drug and he transforms into like this monstrosity. And it was kind of weird because I did not like how his skin was like on his new transformation still. That shit creeped me out to this day. And so after that, that's when Superboy and him begin to fight. With his enhanced strength, Superboy gets pushed back, but it doesn't deter him, as Superboy comes back and then tries to fight, and they begin to fight with the scientist being drugged up, and now a new monster tackles Superboy into the main floor, basically like the top floor, like the entrance of the whole Cadmus lab. And so as As they begin to go up there, that's when Aqualad was like, we can't leave him by himself. And then that's when Gojo was like, all right, I'm on it. And so that's when he grabbed Kid Flash. He grabbed Kid, he said, everybody place your hand on me. And then he said now hang on and trust in me. And then as they they put their their hand on Gojo's shoulders, and they made sure they were in contact with each other. And then that's when Gojo teleported to the top floor, and they landed as they begin to help Superboy fight the scientist that was basically a monster now, like a mutation now. And so basically the mutated scientist, I don't know his name, so I'm gonna just call him the mutated scientist, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so as they were doing that, they weren't getting anywhere with Gojo and Aqualad and Superboy and Robin only were doing somewhat damage, with Gojo doing the most damage. And Aqualad's lightning and water water and electricity were doing damage too, and Robin was only doing damage if he only used explosive gadgets. And then that's when they decided to that's when Aqualad asked the team to destroy the foundations of the place. And then Gojo said he'll keep him busy, as he's the only one that can actually do something right now, along with Superboy, as the scientist is trying to hit Gojo, but his hits are not phasing through, as Gojo is feeling the wind, and he was like, damn, this won't last much longer. And so that's when him and Gojo begin to fight, box it out. I mean, Gojo is going crazy with the martial arts. He going crazy with the Wing Chun, the Taekwondo kicks, the MMA kicks, he doing that spinning back kicks, and he kicked the shit out of his chest, and he's using the momentum that he gains, because he's not wasting any energy. And so it's all the natural energy that he's building up is actually providing some hits too, along with him lacing his hits with lapis blue. So it's kind of making the mutated scientist queasy, since his hits, if he hits a normal person, he could basically make him throw up, or basically obliterate them if he chooses to, depending how much output he puts. And so far he's currently going let's say 65, close to 70%. He's exerting himself, because he thinks it's at its 100%, but since he has a mental block subconsciously, since he doesn't know the true essence of curse energy, he's not at his 100% yet. But once he gets to his 100%, he'll access all his abilities, and he has a lot of potential, let's just say that. And so they're going back and forth, and then that's when Gojo uses unknowingly uses Black Flash, as he ducks sidesteps the mutated scientist punch, and he says, he breathes in and out as his eyes begin to glow. And then he said, Black Flash, out of nowhere. He was like, oh my goodness. Oh, my throat's dry. I'm gonna need a water break after this. And so, sorry for that tangent. But after he dodges, he breathes in and out as his divergent fish begins to turn black. And so that's when he says, Black Flash. And so that's when he opened his eyes real quick. And so that's when, because he been trying to hit a Black Flash all night. And so that's when he figured out how to finally do it. And after he did it, he felt better. His energy was skyrocketing, as an aura of bluish energy began to come off of him. And then that's when Wally was running around, hitting him. And then he was like, yo, Gojo, you're glowing. He was like, I know. He was like, I'm reaching my potential. He said, I'm breaking my limits right now. So I would please, he said, so I'm going to just keep doing this. So just keep the hurt on him. Because he didn't want his concentration broken. And so that's when he landed a Black Flash, and everything warped for 1.2 seconds. And the mutated scientist flies back, as Gojo wasn't finished, as he said, I'm starting to understand now. And then that's when he jumps up in the air, and the scientist, readies his punch, and then that's when Gojo does it again. He said, "Black Flash," and so they collide punches, and then that's when an explosion happens with with the mutated scientist's hand is being kind of all fucked up because them black flashes aren't no joke. And then that's when his hand begins to smoke, and then it was like purple blood coming from it, and then that's when that's when he does a backflip, and then that's when a Superboy and Aqualad both punch him at the same time, and then he was getting punch drunk, so he just started swinging at anything and anyone, and then that's when Gojo uses his potential that he unlocked, his 120% potential, which made him which granted him like a boost of speed, strength, and then he just blitzed with a blue trail of energy following him as he does the 1-inch punch with a black flash again. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make Gojo so epic. He does it again with the 1-inch punch as he says black flash and punches him, and then that's when Superboy comes up with the final blow with the Superman punch and puts him down for the count. And then that's when Robin detonates all the detonates the remainder of the foundation, and then that's when they all run for the exit as that's when basically they begin to run, and then that's when that's when Gojo uses some of his cursed energy reserves, since Gojo really doesn't have unlimited cursed energy, but he kind of does. So I'm gonna say like it's like near endless, kind of. It's like close to endless, but Gojo does has his limits, and so he uses his reverse not reverse curse. He uses a simple curse energy push, nothing like to harm anybody, but he pushes them to the entrance as his time with infinity ran out, and then that's when everything comes crumbling down, and then that's when that's when he crossed his fingers at the last second, and then that's when they're like, Gojo, no, and then that's when he pops up with all the debris basically like flying away, since he's has his fingers crossed, and he's like I'm good, I'm okay. He was like, man, it sucks that he said my outfit got ruined, but other than that I'm okay. And then that's when everybody got a sigh of relief, and then that's when the Justice League pop up, and then that's when Batman was like, you disobeyed Justice League protocol, you hacked into classified files, and then that's when that's when Robin said that Aqualad said that they did good work, and without this they wouldn't even known that there was a cloning facility, and it was right up under their noses. And then that's when Batman said we could have had this under control. He said even if you knew about it, how long were they gonna wait to finally do something about it? And then that's when Aqualad said stand down. And then that's when Aqualad said, with all respect, my king, no, I will not stand down. We did good work here today. And Robin said like they did do good work today. And Superboy usually says we brought the fight to them, we beat the bad guys, so what's the problem? And he always says either get on board or get out of the way, or get out the way. And I was like, why did he say that? He just got here and like less than 0.20 seconds, and he already talking crazy. And I was like, damn, he really bold like that. But I was like, I interject, I digress. So after that, he was like, fine. He said you did do. That's when Batman was like, you did do good work today. Maybe we should not be so as strict as you. But when we say recon, we mean recon. He said, other than that, he said, Robin, write up a report, and head back to base. We'll take it from here. And they take the scientists back. And after they take the scientists back, they basically bring Kid Flash, not Kid Flash, but Superboy back. And as they walk in a boom tube, they add them into the blue tube database, and so now Superboy is able to go in and out. And so after that, they welcome him, and they introduce himself, And then that's when Superboy was like, okay, now that all the introductions are out the way, who's the strongest on the team? And then that's when everybody was like, well, we're all strong in our way, but if you're asking like who's the strongest member, that's when Gojo was like, that would be me. He was like, as you know, that, I can't be touched unless I allow it to. And then, they begin to, like laugh about it and, basically, chill, have fun, play games. Like, they have their downtime. And so after that, we're going to go on to the next day, and then we're going to leave this what off with, with, McGann, well, with Martian Manhunter introducing, McGann, basically, Martian Manhunter's niece, McGann. And so after that, that's where we're basically going to leave this, what if off. So, cut to tomorrow. Martian, they're basically training, kicking back and relaxing, and then this is when Martian Manhunter introduces, his niece to them, along with Red Tornado being brought to monitor them, basically like their guardian and their caretaker. And so that's where I'm gonna be leaving this what if off. This is what if Gojo was in Young Justice. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support, man. I hope y'all are enjoying the series. It's a little something, that's not, really what I do per se, combining cartoons with anime, but you never know what the results that you might get. So, this is a little something that I hope y'all enjoy. And man, I just appreciate y'all for real. Like, I really hope like y'all really fucking with me for real in this what if business, because I'm serious about throwing these AIs out of business. And plus, like, if y'all know who, shout out to Q Kane, Zether What Ifs, and that one weeb, if y'all know, and Golden What Ifs too, because if y'all know who those boys are, and Izakage too, and Rogue X, if y'all don't know who those are like the OGs, in my opinion, that started the What Ifs. And, I want to make it big to the point where I could actually do a collab with them and, add a character, or, have both characters that we take from each respective universe and have them interact with each other in, different universes. Or if we would just do one character, we do one character. So like, I really want y'all to make my dreams come true. And if anybody that is planning to start like a what if YouTube channel, I just want to inspire y'all to like say like y'all could do it, bro. Like, just keep grinding and keep pushing, man. Like, if y'all have hella what if ideas, go for it. I'm here for it. If y'all want to do a collab with me, we could do a collab with me. If y'all just starting this what ifs and y'all want to, get exposure and do collabs, I'm down with collabs. But, other than that, I really appreciate all y'all for all the love and supports. Get me to 50 subs, please. I ask of y'all, man. I really want to get the 50 subs and then soon 100. And then, after we get to 100 subs, I might do a gaming stream. Since Sparking Zero is coming out, I will be dropping some content for Sparking Zero. I'm really not a Dragon Ball Z channel, but I might do like a one-shot what if. I'm a stream Sparking Zero, and I'm gonna hop on with my boys, and if they don't hop on, I might do like a Sparking Zero stream, and I might do one-shot what ifs depending on what y'all ask for and all that other stuff. And I might do one-shot what ifs, or if you want me to like do a what if and while I'm doing a live stream, I could do that too. So I just appreciate all y'all for all the love and support, man. Y'all showing me, keep running my videos up, run up Aang High School DxD up, because I really do want to do that for y'all. But if it's not getting enough views, or y'all really not messing with it, I'll put it on a hiatus. I'll put it on a pause, and then after I get all the major series out the way, I'll continue High School DxD Aang, and then start pushing that through the end of the videos when you see it at the tab, and I'll just start pushing that through. But, without any further ado, man, appreciate y'all for all the love and support. And I am out. This is Redux What If signing off. Have a good night and stay cool.